Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about Dimensions 404. So Dimensions 404 is a brand new show. It's a Hulu original. It has Mark Hamill as a narrator. It's really a wonderful show. It is the new... No, they're not, actually, I love the way they're doing this. They're not claiming this on the show, but if you're paying attention, it is the new Twilight Zone. So it's exactly like in the Twilight Zone where all episodes are self-contained. They're not connected, and so each one is a unique story, and they're really fun and they're incredibly well written, and many of them have a twist. Okay, so they're just and the other thing is they're low budget, right? Which is great. That's one of the best things about the show, is they are low budget shows, and now. Not super low budget, not like a web series. They're actually a low budget television show. And one of the things that does is it requires them to really maximize, one, the writing is tight as a drum, because it has to be, right? When you have, generally, if you have a low budget show, the writing has to really be solid. And that is one thing that you can get for cheap. You can get writing for cheap. I recently worked on a Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition adventure. It's called Arbor Jade. You can get it on Nerdarchy for free. And one of the things that we found was I was able to get 5 writers who wrote for free and gave, free content, but getting art was incredibly difficult, right? And the reason why is when everybody goes to school, everybody's taught how to read and write, right? But not everyone is really taught 12 years of drawing. So you really have to pursue it. So the number of people who are good at drawing is much lower. So there's a really high supply of great writers. So you can get really, really amazing writing for television for a song, right? And which is good. I think that's great. And Dimension 404 is just is that to the max. They have every single story is just written so incredibly well, and they're just really fantastic. The other thing is, generally what it is, it's a whole bunch of people you've never seen before, low-end actors, not low-end, just actors who haven't made it yet or really aren't famous yet, and then 1 or 2 actors from a show that you've seen, and you're like, oh, there's that person, and you generally don't know their name, but you know them, and you know their face, and you're happy to see them. Every show has 1 or 2 people like that. The other thing is, I do think actually they're very good at getting. This show has weird spikes in quality, right? Especially in actors. It has people who are like, where you see an actor and you're like, oh man, I think I'm going to see that actor or that actress in other material in the future because they're really good. There are. And actually, I'm tempted to say, oh, you should watch this episode and you should watch this episode. But there really hasn't been a bad episode yet. And there's about a half a dozen of them. The only downside is that it is on Hulu. And Hulu, to my knowledge, it used to be free and you could watch it. And maybe you could just watch it later than other people. But now all of it's behind a paywall. My family does get Hulu. We're very happy with it. We've had it for a long, long time. We were paying for Hulu way before you needed to pay for Hulu, just to get the different perks they got. And a while back they put the entire Hulu site behind a paywall, which is a little bit sad, but totally understandable. The content is very, very strong there, and so it's absolutely worth watching. Dimension 404 is definitely one of the best new shows of 2017. I will tell you now, it's mostly toward a science fiction bent. So I would say it's almost all science fiction. I think one of the reasons why it's almost all science fiction is near future stories are just easier to do, right? So that's another thing they're doing, is they're using the writing to generate stories that can be told fairly easily with the budget they have, right? This show, I think the really great thing about Dimension 404 is they have limited resources and limited reach and limited access, right? But the writing is absolutely amazing, and with every piece of resource that they get, they do the most they can with it. They really do, and that includes the actors, the sets, the props, all of it. Like, this is like, they're really leveraging everything extremely well. And I think Dimension 404 might pop up in next year, like get a little bit of popularity, and may actually get a bigger budget. But overall, there's lots of great actors in it. Really can't suggest it high enough. I really am a huge fan of Dimension 404. Check it out.